Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 6 of the 2026 TCUK Championship here at Virtual Motorsport Online. Tonight we head north of the border and to the fierce and compact Knockhill racing circuit, Scotland's home for motorsport since the 1970s. Built into the natural hillside and landscape, Knockhill is a short, dynamic, relentless, undulating roller coaster of a circuit with cars leaping over crests, diving into blind apexes and fighting for grip at all points. It's a circuit that has hosted touring car racing for decades, and with 3 24-lap sprints ahead, it's ready to deliver more for us tonight. With a chance of rain drifting through the Fife Hills and a Knockhill circuit that can flip the order in an instant, anything can happen. And following the momentum swings we saw last time out at Thruxton, where 2021 champion Dan Kell made himself known, and the likes of Tom Stevens and Luke Mitchell also having stellar rounds for King's Racing, we'll have to wait and see what this circuit has in store for us this evening. With Knockhill's narrow racing line, unpredictable weather, and 3 intense races to come, round 6 promises to be a roller coaster. So settle in, let's see what we have coming up tonight. My name is Matthew Churgwin, and joining me in the commentary booth this evening is Mr. Philip Morby. Say hello, sir.
Hello, sir. We've legged it up from the south of the country in the heat of Thruxton to 13 degrees and Scotland, and possible rain. Good old, nothing's changed, has it?
Nothing has changed, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with a bit of a climactic difference. It's been mighty warm lately, and not to say stereotypes hold, but it is nice to have something a bit different and some wet weather for our drivers to contend with.
Yeah, it's like I said, the practice session was wet. It was then a drying circuit during qualifying, and of 20 cars lapping around, it meant it just got drier and drier, and the lap times kept tumbling, and we ended up with the top 15 under 8 tenths. Obviously, it's a short circuit, sub 50 seconds, but that's still one hell of an achievement to get 3/4 of the grid within 8 tenths.
And it's a tough technical circuit. Mistakes are well and truly punished, and do expect to see a few cars on 2 wheels as they try and take every opportunity to shorten the circuit. There are some big, nasty red sausage curbs. You can see some of them on screen right now. You hit those wrong, you're going to be a passenger. So to have so many drivers in such a tight space in terms of time, but also on a wet circuit which is drying, that's quite something.
Yeah, it is indeed. And you say about having 2 wheels on the track. I mean, I've many a times on the lap you'll have 0, jumping over the chicane and whatnot. I think we're gonna see some spectacles. I've also seen some interesting lines that have involved cars flipping their way down the hill and ending upside down. So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight.
As you just saw on the VT there, car hopping its way through the chicane. We'll have to see where we'll be hopping to next. So let's see what our following rounds have to follow. So today, of course, we're at Knockhill, but we've got 4 more rounds after this one. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be visiting Donington Park once again and the Grand Prix circuit on the 2nd of September. We then have our final 3 races starting at Croft in Yorkshire on the 16th of September. We visit Silverstone, the home of British motorsport, and its national layout on the 30th of September. And everything comes to its dramatic conclusion at Brands Hatch and its Grand Prix layout on the 14th of October. So with 5 rounds down and effectively 5 to go before tonight starts, still everything definitely to play for. And the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors' Championship, it's all still to play for.
Yeah, I mean, the gap between first and second in Drivers' Championship is 47 points, but it dropped a good 10 points or so from last time out. Stevens getting a couple of podiums and some points at the end, whereas Herlock wasn't even on the podium. I think it was the first evening, Herlock was never on the podium. 4th, and sadly 16th in that race 3, which was a bit messy and has meant he's got a 5-place grid drop tonight as well.
Plenty for Herlock to do, but he does lead. He does have a little bit of a cushion, but like I say, still plenty of time for everyone to catch up. And we have 4 championships that everyone are scrapping for. We've got Drivers, of course. We have a Teams Championship, that being led by King's Racing. They had a stellar outing last time out at Thruxton, bringing home a huge bag of points. We have our Independence Championship as well for drivers not affiliated with a team, and then of course the Challengers Cup. And Cedar Wire, he won last time out in the 3rd race. That's 2 wins for him, which means he won't be eligible for the Challengers Cup, but all sorts of competition going on up and down the field, so there's still plenty to play for. Bill, what do you make of Thruxton as a driver?
Thruxton, I've always enjoyed Thruxton. Yeah, I enjoyed Thruxton.
Knockhill, sorry.
We've moved on the side now, mate. We're up to Knockhill. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I have good memories of, because it's such a small circuit, it means that that 1/10 difference that may get you from 12th to 11th in qualifying at other circuits could be a jump between 12th and kind of 6th, 7th. So it really does give you a bit of a jump with the grids being so close to each other. Bad memories of it. I remember racing in a different league. Our very own Ben Willis. We were racing for the lead. I went over the as it's called, the Black Circles chicane. Other tyre manufacturers and sellers are available. And as this wonderful pictures show, I basically hopped over that chicane, ended up in 2 wheels, in the gravel, into the wall, and that was my race over. And Ben went on to win. So well done. I'm not jealous at all. I also had a hilarious DNF one season at another league where the car I was driving, I had a network issue, and it meant that my tyres then went through the chassis and it sent my car 600 miles an hour vertical. And you'll be surprised to hear my game crashed.
The incidents and accidents you could only get on a simulator, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say I'm glad of that one. I mean, that's a little potential rocket program if that worked in real life.
Yes, the Vorg space program really did take off. I'd never seen this issue before, and I've never had it again. But yes, don't recommend shoving a tyre through your chassis.
Good advice. Good advice. Well, so while our drivers, they have qualified, we'll bring you the starting order very shortly. We'll just briefly remind everyone, of course, of things to look out for tonight. If you're new, welcome. Just so you are all aware, our drivers, we've got 3 races tonight. They have a few strategic tools and other things to manage across the evening. So the first of which is tyres. Our drivers have to make use of different tyre compounds, which will give them different strengths and weaknesses across the evening, and those tyres are actually balanced out across the whole season as well. What's a bit interesting about Knockhill, Phil, is the fact that the option tyre is actually the medium tyre, the slower compound. So do you think that that's going to be a disadvantage tonight?
I think with the rain about, I don't really know, to be honest. I've always said I was never a fan of the soft tyre. I always struggled to make it go the distance, so I liked having the medium be the option. You kind of, yes, you may not have the grip at the start, but you've got the traction at the end, which I enjoyed, because if you think about it with Knockhill, that first sector and a lot of the second, there isn't really much of a break for all those tyres. You've obviously got the long back straight of Hislops, and then you've got Taylor's hairpin before the main straight, but then it's just, for a good 20-30 seconds, those tyres don't get a break unless you're throwing the entire car into the air.
So something for you to keep an eye out for is drivers using different tyre compounds and how they manage that. The other element, of course, unique to TCUK and VMO, is the boost system that we have. So drivers will have varying levels of boost power, which adds an extra 65 brake horsepower to their machines. And depending on their championship positions, they will either get more or less of that to use as the race goes on. So drivers starting right at the sharp end, or who are up at the sharp end of the championship, will have a lot less power to work with, and with some real slow speed corners and traction zones, that could be a real disadvantage tonight.
Yep, so we're doing 24 laps tonight, so everyone from 8th downwards will get 14 laps of boost, which they get to use at a minimum deployment speed of 105 kilometers an hour. And then as we kind of go up the grid, effectively you have less laps to use it for, so it goes in twos. So P7 will have 12, P6 will have 10, all the way up to P1, who will have 4 laps of boost, and also the speed at which they can deploy it is then higher. So whereas the guy in 8th can deploy at 105 kilometers an hour for 14 laps, the guy in P1 only has 4 laps to use it and has to deploy at 140 kilometers an hour. So that's be fun to watch. And obviously, as we've done before, those positions are based on the championship position for race 1. So poor old Dan Herlock, he qualified 8th. He's got a 5-place grid drop for tonight, so starting 13th, and he will only have 4 laps of boost, while all those around him will have 14.
So a lot to manage for him tonight, but let's run through our starting order for the first race this evening. So, Jordan Richardson for PMR, powered by Richardson Co Racing, finds himself in pole position. Luke Mitchell for Kings will start in 2nd place, followed by his teammate Tom Stevens in 3rd. Thomas Wack will start in P4. Cedo Wire continues his good form, starting 5th. Harley London continues her fantastic form in 6th. Scott Mitchell-Malm, the 3rd Kings car, will start 7th, with Daniel Herlock in 8th. Martha Allington will start in 9th, with Emil Salberg rounding out our top 10.
Then Matthew Williams in 11th with Callum Wilson in 12th. These guys will get bumped up with Herlock's grid penalty. Louis Neal will start 13th with Alan Smith 14th. Jordan Hyde in 15th, and Jack Bonney, newcomer, last time out, will be starting 16th out of our 20 drivers. Then has Ben Willis in 17th, the two drags of Robin Moling and Daniel Scott in 18th and 19th, and Dave Brewster rounding out that 20-car grid.
20 runners and riders tonight. I think that's a good number for Knockhill. We've mentioned it's a short lap. It's not the shortest circuit that we visit, but I think 20 cars within 50 seconds worth of track space is a pretty decent amount. And as you were saying, Phil, there's plenty of corners which come at you thick and fast. So I think it's going to be an interesting evening to see how folks manage this circuit. It's not the easiest to overtake on. It's definitely one of the easier ones, though, to lose a lot of time if you make a mistake.
Yeah, and that lack of boost for some of those drivers is really going to hurt them. So yeah, I'm looking at guys starting in 8th, which would have been Herlock, obviously. If so, for race 2, they'll definitely get more boost. I'll be surprised if Herlock can win this race from 13th. But weirder things have happened. Good job from the Kings guys. They're back up there again after some a few knocks and bruises, but they did very well last time at Thruxton. And yeah, they really are on the charge for that constructors. And obviously, I can't remember who's in second place for them. It is Stevens. Is slowly just chipping away at that lead. So 47 points. You get 20 for a race win. You get 1 for fastest lap if you finish in top 15, and 1 for leading. As I thought I saw some windscreen wipers go on, but I don't think I did. So you can get a max of 66 points in the evening. I don't think Herlock's lead's going to get overturned in this race, but only takes one bad evening, and we'll see what happens.
Form is one of those things in sports. If you have a bad day and you let it get to you, that bad day becomes a bad week, and the rest can be history. So we'll have to see how Dan Herlock can bounce back. He is a quality driver, we know that, but he's still got a job to do to complete and close out this championship. So with the nature of the circuit, Phil, interesting as well to see quite a few front-wheel drive cars towards the front of the field. I would typically associate this circuit as being a bit more friendly to the rear-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, well, I think, like I said, the Kings Trio and Creek Racing by Kings have done very well. They've obviously found something with that Honda, get it high up there. We know, as we said, Herlock's lack of boost is going to struggle. So fun to watch their charge up the order, especially at the start, see if they get swamped. They're fighting for a championship and they're having to start from 13th place. So that's going to be a good fun one to watch. We're having some slight technical issues, so I think we're going to have to regrid the cars shortly. Our good friend, we have our own boost system, which is kind of separate from our Factor 2. It looks like there's a few kinks in the system that they just need to smooth out. So the other thing to remember about Knockhill is that in the real world, they get 2 formation laps. With the limitations of our Factor 2, we only get 1 formation lap. So it's very quick. We have to run through the order very quickly. And you don't get much time to warm those tyres up.
Hey, I'm glad that you're on the ball, Phil. I'd forgotten that, but you're absolutely right. Drivers having to prepare their cars have to do so in double quick time. So yes, another thing for everyone to keep on top of. Speaking of keeping on top of things, if you're new to VMO and TCUK, well, first of all, welcome. Lovely to have you along with us. If you'd like to find out more about TCUK or VMO and the league, feel free to head on over to vmo-simracing.co.uk. That is our website. You'll be able to find out a lot more about the league, the various championships that we have, and find links to our Discord server, where you'll be able to sign up, find a like-minded community of sim racing and general motorsport enthusiasts, and the variety of championship that we put on at VMO. It will be getting towards winter again. The year is marching on. We're already most of the way through August, which is a terrifying thought. But our winter series will come back, and one popular one for the last few years has been our rallying series, which, Phil, you're a champion of.
The Group A5, which I took an old Skoda Favorit, 113 horsepower and 800 kilos. And yeeted that around a few rally stages. Very good fun. I enjoy rally, but I don't like, same in actually track cars. I don't like fast cars. I can't handle Rally 1. It's too fast for me. I'd much prefer go take Rally. EAWRC has Rally 3 with the Clio, and I love throwing that about. But that's about the kind of speed I can work to. I can't do Rally 2 and Rally 1. But yeah, Richard Burns Rally, it's free. Rally Sim fans. If you go Google Rally Sim fans, you can find out how to install it and stuff. And then we can, I'm sure we'll do a winter series in that again. And I hear rumours of other things happening, hopefully, but we'll have to wait and see, as we're just sorting out session stuff for the real track stuff. The other exciting thing we can talk about in the break between races 1 and 2, I've bought some new sim pedals.
Oh well, we'll have to talk hardware in the break in the action. We'll look forward to that. So yes, our drivers are now gridding up, and we're just hearing in our ears from our cameraman extraordinaire Tom, thank you very much, that the rain has returned. And for those who are new to the league, we are running a rain plugin. So while the races are running at a simulated midday, we're actually pulling real-time weather from the circuit as it is right now in the world, and it sounds like we've got some rain.
Yes, and our cameraman is also based slightly to the west, I believe, in Glasgow. Hopefully, I got my geography right there. And he was telling us earlier that it rained, stopped for 20 minutes, and then started again. And as he was telling us that, it just stopped raining to his east, and was like, "We'll give it 20 minutes, it'll start raining again." Sure enough, about 25 minutes later, it started raining again. So this could be a fun one to watch. I mean, if you start further up the grid, do you take those soft tyres or do you start on wets? And if you've got the option tyre, you have the option tyre, you have the opportunity to take the wets and then use that option tyre in race 2.
We'll have to see how everyone deals with it. As you can see on the timing tower, everyone on slicks. But let's very quickly run through your starting order one more time. Jordan Richardson starts from pole position. Luke Mitchell will start second. Tom Stevens in third. Thomas Wack will be followed by Cedo Wire in fourth and fifth. Harley London will start in sixth place, followed by Scott Mitchell-Marm, Emil Salberg, Matthew Williams, and Callum Wilson round out the top 10.
It's Louis Neal on 11th for PMR, powered by Richardson Co-Racing. I still have time to say that. Herlock 12th. I forgot to point out that there was Harley Marth Allington also had a 5-place grid job. So they are down to 13th. Alan Smith 14th. Jordan Hyde in 15th. Jack Bonney 16th. And then it's there's a trio of rear-wheel drives in Ben Willis, Robin Moling, and Daniel Scott, 17th, 18th, and 19th. And Dave Brewster is in 20th, actually. It's 4 in a row for rear-wheel drive, and Dave Brewster is the only one on wets. So they've gone for, I'm starting 20th, I'm at the back of the grid, I might as well roll the dice and see what happens.
I like that call. You don't pass people by doing the same thing. So we'll have to see if Dave's made a blinder of a call. Fantastic camera here. One of the many challenges of this circuit. Look at this hill that our drivers are having to deal with. Get the bite point on. You can see even some of the raindrops on some of the bodywork here. It's definitely raining, and we'll have to see how much wetter it gets. Unique staggered grid here. Everyone ever so slightly out of sync with each other. But as we wait for everyone and the lights to come on, lights out and away we go. Great start there by the King's car on the second row of the grid. Can he get round Jordan Richardson? No, he can't. It's a drag race down to turn 1, 4, 5 wide, down at the back, down into turn 1 they swing, and it looks like Luke Mitchell has been able to get ahead, but here comes Richardson up the inside. Will he get that one done? Yes, he will. Down the hill they run, through Butchers, up to the chicane for the first time of asking. Hold on, everyone.
It looks like they're just about all holding on themselves. That was very important for Richardson to get ahead at the start, as I imagine those Kings could have made a bit of a two-way blockade, but it looks like everyone has managed to make it through so far.
Yes, a good breakaway now from Jordan Richardson, recovering beautifully as they run down towards the hairpin for the first time of asking. Hard on the brakes, the cars dance as they bounce their way over the bumps. It looks like we've got some side-by-side action. Scott Mitchell-Marm looking up the inside of one of the Calamity Ford Focuses, and it looks like he's been able to drag alongside as they run up the hill. No boost on this first lap, but now boost is enabled. Let's see what our drivers can use it for.
Yeah, no one's going to use it on this back little sprint down the race to turn 1, lap 2, as Scott Mitchell up there in 6th. Has got Cedo Wire just ahead of them in 5th. Looks like everything's going okay so far. Herlock's made a great start, by the way, up 4 places already to 8th position, so that's positive for them. But Tom Stevens in 3rd, again, will just be chipping away. So now, we're in the second half of the season. They need to think about those championships.
They dive up the inside there into the right-hander. That's Clark's curve, tricky corner, uphill and off camber. I have to see if I think that was Salberg got that move done. But as they make their way towards Taylor's hairpin, lap 2 about to be completed already. It's a little roller coaster, this place. Scott Mitchell-Marm now closing onto the back of Cedo Wire, like for like machinery, to Honda Civic Type Rs. So we'll have to see which of these two machines is working most nicely for their drivers. Ooh, a big slide on the brakes, locking the rears. As we've got some side-by-side action. Alan Smith trying to get around Martha Allington.
Yeah, I'm afraid Dave Bruce's plan of those wet tyres hasn't worked, because it looks like the rain is easing off, sadly, for them. They haven't been able to make any places, so I worry about the temperature of those wet tyres now. But everyone's still running and riding, so far so good. Oh, there's Smith does his best to ruin that idea, but holds on to it.
It's such a tricky corner, that chicane, for reasons you may be able to see. It's a tight, narrow corner which literally goes over a crest. But if you go slightly offline, you get loaded tyres into that gravel, you are a passenger. Thankfully, Alan able to hold on this time around. Luke Mitchell looks like he is now catching on to the back of Jordan Richardson. Richardson sets the fastest lap of the race, though, so perhaps actually Richardson able to pull just a slight advantage there as they go through Duffer's Dip, down through Leslie's, and then hard on the brakes into McIntyre's.
I'm just watching Cedo Wire and Scott Mitchell-Marm having one hell of a fight here. It's worth pointing out also Herlock has got ahead of London, so that's now Herlock behind them in 7th place. Watching these guys go through, just how you chuck the cars through that jump over that black circle chicane. Get yourself a little bit of a respite, aim yourself for this long right-hander, and just kind of get a good exit in this way. Want to use that boost all the way out along here if you've got it to use, which these guys are opting not to for now.
Not much boost usage going on in the top 10 at the moment. A few drivers further down the grid are using it. Drivers have up to 14 laps, and those higher up the championship positions have less and less. But as our drivers complete lap 5, the rain looks like to be starting again. The windscreen wipers start to dance. So we'll have to see, is this just going to be another passing showers? My goodness, Herlock there in the white BMW, all 4 wheels sliding through turn 1 this time around. Cedo Wire, though, doing an excellent job just keeping his position and driving a very wide Honda Civic.
Herlock's style is look like they're going to drop it every single corner, so the fact that they're still going, pointing in the right direction, is a relief for everyone involved. Just looking at the gap between Richardson and Mitchell, looks like it's holding steady. Mitchell now with the fastest lap, a little bit of slipstream, I'm sure. As we get a replay here of Luke Mitchell fighting, going down to turn 1. Seeing going very... It's a bit of a game of chicken as to how high an angle you dare go before you make the car go all the way over, but held on to it and just 4 tenths to the lead. So we see Scott Mitchell-Marm using a little bit of boost, try and get on the outside of Cedo Wire for turn 1, to get the inside for turn 2 as Cedo goes very wide. And yeah, I think that may be a little bit of Cedo's fault there. Are they going to be able to bring the car back safely? They are. They lose just a couple of places. They need to get themselves back into line. Yeah, I think Cedo went too much curb there, washed wide, and kind of hit Scott Mitchell-Marm. As now it looks like Herlock's going to benefit more of it and make 2 spots up to 5th.
And here comes Cedo straight back through on Mitchell-Marm. Contact between the two. These two continue to scrap. Mitchell-Marm holds on, but yes, just touching that curb on the inside of turn 1 there, unsettles Cedo's car, and he was a passenger. Oh, looks like a little bit of a move. And oh, look at the brake. Look at the front locking there on Dan Herlock. You don't tend to see that very often. Scott Mitchell-Marm moving around in the mirror. Herlock clearly keeping an eye on what that rapid King's Honda Civic in its bold yellow livery can do. Cedo Wire, though, trying to make a move. Nothing happening through Duffer's Dip.
Yeah, the rain is actually coming back harder now than it has before.
Oh!
That's Salberg going straight on at turn 2, so not sure what happened there, but that's going to be a bunch of places, a bunch of paces lost. Back on the track, down in 14th as we cut back to a bit of chaos going behind, but Cedo Wire currently holding 7th place, and yeah, the rain is starting to really pour down now. Dave Brewster is up to 19th, but that's sadly because we've had our first retirement in Ben Willis.
I would like to hasten that this rain is getting more and more intense, and drivers relying on a bit of grip as the car re-lands on the tarmac on the exit of that chicane. It's not there. They're slowly but surely slipping and sliding more and more towards that gravel. So this is danger time, I think, for our drivers. Who's going to be able to work out where the grip is? Oh, big slide for Richardson as we go to replay.
So here we go. Salberg just takes too much curb down that turn 2 there and just can't get the car straightened up and slowed down at the same time. And that was a bunch of places they've lost there, sadly, but they are still going, currently in 14th place.
It may have been my eyes, but I thought maybe just the starts of a little bit of spray off the back of some of these cars towards the back end of the circuit there. Like I say, maybe my eyes. Luke Mitchell dancing around in the rearview mirror of Jordan Richardson. Not going to put Jordan off on this time of asking, though. Good exit from the King's car, not on the boost, just dragging that Honda Civic up the hill, trying to get alongside the Hyundai, but that's not going to happen this time around. Over the brow of the crest, another lap in the books, and then immediately onto the brakes into turn 1, 2, and 3. A lovely flowing section, but if you get out of shape, as you just saw, you do tend to end up in a wall. So has to be shown a lot of respect. Here they come through the chicane one more time of asking, bouncing, scraping, sparking through there. These three safely through.
The rain is sadly tailing off again. It's worth pointing out, by the way, Stevens in third is keeping up with these guys and has the medium tyres. So that'll be one to watch later as WAC has now got the fastest lap and is using their boost to try and catch up this leading trio.
Dan Hurlock up to 5th, that +7, so clearly he's still making miracles happen, as he did last time out in Thruxton, making places but not quite converting them into podium finishes. Yellow Fag in Sector 2, it certainly looks like as the conditions start to change, as we've got Robin Moling, one of the Drags, off in the grass there on the exit of the chicane. Hopefully you can get that back going again. But it certainly looks like as the conditions are changing, keep an eye out on the surface of the race circuit here. You will see the colour change as the water comes down. That dry line will get narrower and narrower. And we'll have to see if Dave Brewster, he's up to P18. He's gained a couple of spots. He's on the boost as it so happens at this moment. We'll have to see if that actually may be the better bet in the long run.
Let's got a replay here. Robert Rolling, so going over the jump. Is it just a little bit followed? Yeah, too close to the car behind, and missed their kind of apex there, and just kind of off they went round and round like a record. But looks like they have recovered. Yeah, down to 19th as the rain has now stopped again. And we see Luke Mitchell pull to the inside turn 1, thinking about it. No, just again showing their bonnet. But you know, Richardson now can use boost every lap. Mitchell can only use it for another 8. So this is kind of advantage Richardson at the moment.
It's one thing to catch, quite another to overtake, and I do think it's going to require a mistake, I think, to get a move partially engineered. So we'll have to see what Luke can do. Continues to move around, dance in the rearview mirror of Jordan, but no mistake at this point. Tom Stevens on that medium tyre, as Phil was just saying, keeping up with this group. So as the race progresses, we're coming up to halfway already. Where did that time go? We'll have to see if that medium tyre starts to come into its own as the soft wears away.
Yeah, it looks like the rain isn't coming back for now. So I think the dry tyre was the right tyre to go for. As the gap between first and second now up to 7 tenths, so a little bit bigger now. Is that Richardson just using that boost to pull away? We get a replay here of Robin Merling as he goes a little bit sideways, loses control of the car, just gathers it back up, but then hits a already hit quick fit tyre barrier, and then hits the actual barrier, and that's their race 1 done.
There is a rallycross circuit here at Knockhill, but it does not go that way, unfortunately, for Moling. So yes, 2 retirements from this race so far, halfway through. And it looks like we've now got a gap between Mitchell and Richardson. I think it must have been a mistake while we're on replay there.
I think this is Richardson now using their boost. I think Richardson now has realised they've got boost for every lap, and they're just going to use it every lap and just pull away on the straights. If I'm Kings, I'll now throw the next question to you, Chuggy. You've got Mitchell in second, 7 tenths behind him. You've got Stevens fighting for the championship. You've then got a nice 1.5 second gap between Stevens and Wack. You know, lap 23, do you consider swapping the places?
I think too early, still too early, not only in the championship, but the race as well. We've still got a bunch of races to go, and with boost and things changing around, I wouldn't be making that move myself, but we'll have to see how they manage it. Matthew Williams and the recovering Creek Racing car scrapping here over P15 and P14, the final points paying positions, but a really fantastic hard fight here. Over and through the chicane they go, both cleanly through. This Honda Civic is really rapid around here, it seems, causing all sorts of drama there.
Talking of drama, Mitchell Marm's having a fight with Hurlock. Looks like they got down the inside of the last corner and then got the cut back Hurlock there to recover back up to 5th, as now Mitchell Marm's going to have the inside for turn 1, gets the car alongside. Are they all going to go in? Just about all holding it together. Hurlock just going sideways every time. It looks like he does it for show half the time, but still holding on to that 5th place. But this is now the pack behind Herlock with those extra laps of boost catching up to them.
Yes, so we'll have to see how Herlock goes from a hunter to hunted as the second half of this race pans out. He's running out of, well, he doesn't have the boost to use. He's not used any so far, but all the drivers behind have plenty to use. And we've got a train here of 5 cars all the way back down to 10th place, all ready to pounce on a mistake. And as we've seen, one mistake in the wrong place, you can lose a bunch of positions.
Speaking of which, that gap that I said 1.5 between Stevens and back in 3rd and 4th, it's come down to half a second. So definitely can't slot a car between them now. As we watch Herlock going down to turn 1, like I said, that little train following them. It's very hard to pass here. It's now a little bit wet offline, which makes it even more trickier. I'm going to struggle to see. You need to be right on their backside going on the back straight, and then use the boost power. Basically, use the boost to overtake. So we'll see if they are able to get. It's going to be very important this corner here. If see if Mitchell Malm can get a good exit, and then see what they're able to do.
Look, Clark's curve, as I say, the uphill right-hander, critical corner, leads onto effectively the longest straight and probably one of the best overtaking opportunities. Feels great when you get it right, feels awful when you get it wrong, and in this case, both Mitchell Malm and Herlock doing a good job through there, and nothing to really separate them as they now run up the hill to complete lap 16, move on to, complete lap 15, move on to lap 16.
Yep, so we're just going up to 2/3 complete. The top 3 kind of all holding station. It's Vac that's kind of catching up in 4th. As I'm just wondering if the gap is a massive 7-second gap between 4th and 5th here at the moment.
So just watching a very out of sorts Dan Herlock, but of course he's gathered it up. He has a way of catching cars. Oh my goodness! As Callum Wilson goes sliding off in the background there from about 7th place, he's going to drop down the order. Hopefully he'll be able to recover that one, but the chicane claims another victim.
It does indeed. I think they may have hit the inside wall, just tapped it, and then it's kind of thrown them around. Are they going to recover? They have recovered. They are down sadly in 15th place, I imagine, with a little bit of steering damage.
Yes, if they have clipped that inside wall, they are solid. They will not budge, and it may even be a bit of damage for Callum to manage now for the remaining 1/3 of the race.
We'll just see as Scott Mitchell Malm, the gap between them and Herlock has increased now. Must have been a little mistake there from Mitchell Malm, because they still haven't used the boost. We get a replay here, so just horrible sideways, and then just can't recover from it, and just tap the back and the front there. So they may have a little bit of damage. They are, like I said, still running out on 15th, so they are still going to get a point for their troubles as everyone now starts using a bit more boost, as he's done another spin, sadly. So we'll see if they can recover. There's only 3 seconds now between them and Jack Boney to try and get a point tonight in this first race.
Really good on board here, going through the chicane. Shows how little the driver can see of the exit, and the second part of it as they approach. And
look at the steering wheel. Steering wheel got left hand up as they go on the straight, so they have got steering damage. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, good spot. But yes, I think it is to send the car through the corner, and I think in that case, for Callum just gripped up a little bit strangely, and he was a passenger. Returning to the front, though, there was a bit of a gap which opened up between Richardson and Mitchell, but that has come well and truly back down over the course of the last few laps. Now we have 2 for the lead, and we've got Wack and Stevens fighting over the final podium positions. Both Richardson and Mitchell on the boost at the moment, and we have Mitchell with the fastest lap. As you just saw exiting your screen going left, the leaders are catching the back of the pack.
They are indeed. It's worth pointing out Callum Wilson currently now in the pits. So that looks like they've going to get that car repaired. As yet we see 4th and 3rd, in fact. Wack, like I said, catching up very quickly as very sideways. So surprise. Honda Civic going through turn 1, holds on, but now Stevens here is going to have to think about rear gunner more than looking ahead.
Interesting just how much of a gap has opened up between Mitchell and Stevens here. Maybe that's just incredible pace from Mitchell and just not quite enough to get past Richardson. We'll have to see. But yes, there's definitely a formation of drivers here. May of course also be the tyre. Perhaps the medium tyre is not the option to be on for today. But Stevens going mighty defensive. Wack takes that opportunity to try and run round the outside, carry the speed. But of course you're going on a much further distance, not working out this time around. Stevens holds on to his position.
They do indeed, as Vax using a bit more boost. So now they both have Stevens has 5 laps, so he can now use it every lap. Wack has 4 laps of boost, so Be interested to see if they can now. They got the even Stevens effectively if they can make use of it. Gap between Mitchell and Jordan is now just half a second. Problem is now they're coming out to lapped cars.
Yes, so drivers will have lap traffic to deal with. Blue flags will be shown, but of course that doesn't mean, unlike Formula One, get out of the way. Lap traffic, it's an informational flag. So yeah, another element for our race leaders to now manage in amongst weather and obviously fighting each other tooth and nail.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it's so they've lapped. I think that was I didn't see who that was actually. Dave Brewster, and it's now Callum Wilson is the next lapped car. They're already a lap down, about to go 2 laps down due to pitting, like I said, to repair that damage. Might as well get some more experience, get some more laps on the board, see if they can get that fastest lap. And yeah, he's absolutely going for it to try and get away from these leading 2.
Here we've got those 2 cars of one of the Drags, and I think that's Wilson now. We've got 2 leaders. It's all cars off in the background. I think that was a lapped car, and I think that may have been Wack caught out in that as well. But yes, the lapped cars and the leaders coming together, hopefully not literally. But here we've got Mitchell. Here we've got Richardson, and contact. There was a little opportunistic move. The door was open with the lap traffic, but thankfully everyone's still pointing the same way, but contact between our 2 race leaders.
Yeah, I think that was Mitchell trying to take advantage of the situation, but I don't quite think that move was on. I don't know if the Hyundai had to move because of the traffic, or yeah, they're still going, which is the important bit with 3 laps to go.
Scott Mitchell-Marm retakes 5th place from Dan Herlock. Didn't see that one. It looks like Scott Mitchell-Marm also has the fastest lap of the race. Here's a replay.
So we're going down. I'm going to guess this is a boost pass, but it seems pretty far back from here to go for it. On the brakes, that a little bit all over the place, and I think that was a bit of a network issue from Herlock more than anything else. The old mechanical issue, which meant it's back up to 5th for Mitchell.
Yes, we don't have mechanical failures. We don't have engines breaking or gearboxes giving up. We do have some latency and other strange things in virtual motorsport, and there was an example of that. Returning to our leaders, though, lap 23 begins. Mitchell still not able to find a way past this Hyundai, driven beautifully by Jordan Richardson, down through Duffer's Dip, Leslie's, and into McIntyre's. Again, lap traffic just ahead. We'll have to see how they navigate it and how the lap traffic manages this. Through the chicane they go, bounce, jump, and leap. And my goodness, look at the exit that Mitchell's got. Is he going to make a move? He's having a look. He's sending the car up the inside. Space in his left, but not enough room. Jordan Richardson hangs it round the outside and gets the better run off of the corner as they run now towards the hairpin.
Yeah, they're now both using boost, so absolutely going for it. Is he going to look down the inside here? Not quite, as Richardson covers it off nicely. I feel like it's now or nothing for Mitchell, because I think this is his last lap of boost, whereas Richardson will have some boost for the final lap.
But I think keeping it clean. There's not only this race, there's the 2 remaining races this evening, and of course there's the championship. Maybe there's a little bit of calculation going on in Mitchell's head. This is a good haul of points. Let's just bring it home potentially, but looks like he's going to give it his all as they now run towards the chicane. Through the chicane they go for the final time in this race. I think that lap traffic is just enough away. Mitchell still trying to find a way past, both on the boost, a little nudge. I'm here. I'm telling you, Jordan, you got to keep going. Yeah. Mitchell trying to find a way by and unsuccessful.
Well, this is going to be the last attempt at it. Are they going to try and dive down the inside? And they're going to try and dive around the outside and give themselves the speed on the exit. Are they going to get a good exit here? It looks like a pretty good exit, but I think it's going to be a little bit too much, as Jordan Richardson should pass the checkered flag first.
Indeed, Jordan Richardson wins. It's an early start-finish line. Expert defence from him. Luke Mitchell came home in 2nd. Tom Stephen in 3rd with Thomas Wack in 4th. It's not all over, though. Dan Herlock's trying to get 5th place back, but not to be had this time around. Scott Mitchell-Marm came home in 5th with Cedo Wire in 7th. Harley London 8th, and as we wait for everyone else to cross the start-finish line, it's been a action-packed first race. The weather has shown its hand, and the chicane in particular has been livening things up.
Has indeed. I'm just watching Jack Boney, 15th place, is going to get the final points paying position. That's the lap car of Callum Wilson behind them. They did actually have the fastest lap at one point, but that looks like Thomas Vack has managed to claim it back, unless Wilson's gone for it in this final lap. Are they going to get the fastest lap and take the point away? No, they are not. So that's Thomas Vack for the extra point for the fastest lap, and that's Jack Boney finishing 15th and a point.
Yeah, congratulations to Jack as well, joining us last time out in Thruxton. First point on the board. Well done. So race 1 in the books, and I'd say a classic Knockhill race with some drama, with some weather, and a fair few thrills and spills. So let's run through our finishing order for race 1 this evening. Jordan Richardson for PM Hour, powered by Richardson Co Racing, came home in first place with Luke Mitchell in second. Tom Stevens for Kings Racing completed the podium. Thomas Wack for Kart Marketplace with RSR came home in fourth place, with Scott Mitchell-Marm rounding out another strong start for the Kings drivers in fifth. Daniel Hurlock came home in sixth place, followed by Cedo Wire. Harley London came home in eighth, followed by Alan Smith for Craven Racing in ninth. Great result for Alan there. And our top 10 was completed by Martha Allington.
Yes, let's let the old page tick on over, and we'll say 11th place Vapor Shield Racing was Jordan Hyde. Louis Neal in 12th with Emil Salberg, that recovering drive after that turn 2 issue, finishing 13th. Matthew Williams in 14th, Craven Racing, that last point, their second point, as they got 15th last time out, race 3 at Fruxton for Jack Boney. Dave Brewster in 16th, that wet tyre gamble didn't quite pay off, sadly. Callum Wilson in 17th after having that issue at the Black Circle chicane. And 3 DNFs of Daniel Scott and Robin Moling for Drake Racing, and Ben Willis for Control Esports by Drake Racing.
That rounds out race 1, our runners and riders, and who finished and who didn't. That was, I'd say, a pretty classic Knockhill race. The circuit certainly throwing up its unique challenges. One interesting thing, or two interesting things actually, just to reference there, how good the soft tyres were, or at least on our leading group from the first race. They seem to manage that really well. Also interesting just to see so many rear-wheel drives struggling in the first race. That's certainly a surprise for me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we knew Hurlock, obviously with that limited amount of boost compared to those around him, and the 5-place grid drop didn't help their case. It looks like the Drake sadly had a bit of a shocker, being the team, the DNF. But I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Scott Mitchell-Marm. Imagine finishing 5th place, and yet because they only take the points of the top 2 drivers in your team, you don't even get constructors points for that 5th place finish, because your teammates are finishing 2nd and 3rd. It's a good problem to have, but yeah, I'd quite happily take a 5th place. But Stevens there with the 3rd. You're right, in the end, the gap between them and Mitchell was just too big. And with Thomas Fack, also made sure the swap just couldn't happen if they were even considering it.
I think it's, like I say, still a bit too early in the championship. Teams, drivers may elect to start putting particular favour with some drivers based on their championship position, but I think there's still a long way to go, so we'll have to see how Kings manage it. I definitely would take a 5th place in this field, as competitive as it is, but still 5th place for Scott. That's a good haul of points for his drivers championship campaign.
Yeah, and obviously it's 17 points for Stevens, and 6th place would have got 10, so 7 points gained. So that gap goes from 47 points down to 40. If they did that every race between now and the end of the season, they would be laughing, but I don't quite think that's how it works.
No, it's you might need a little bit of luck to go your way as well. We know just how quick and consistent Dan Hurlock can be, and now that he's potentially got a little bit more boost to work with than he had in the first race, we'll have to see what he can do in this second race, where of course our race winner now will have the least boost of everyone. So with the boost seemingly being quite effective in the right hands, and when being used in the right places just to affect a move or defend a place, we'll have to see how Richardson et al. Manage with less resources available.
Yeah, Hurlock's going to go started 13th with 4 laps of boost and finished 6th, which means this race they're going to start 6th and have 10 laps of boost. So massive difference. I remember Hurlock became a bit of a race 2 expert many a times. So we'll see if they did it at round 3. And I think they've only done it round 3 this season, but I think last season Hurlock won most of the race 2. I think there was only a couple in the season that he didn't win. So we'll see if they can do it again tonight.
Yes. So yes, still plenty of action to come. 2 more races, and of course the 3rd race with the reverse grid based off of driver position from position 6 to 12. A random number will be drawn, and that the driver finishing in that position will be put onto the pole. So still plenty to work for, and a few drivers I think would be quite pleased with that start to the evening. We know that if you have a bad first race, it's all focus on trying to recover in the following 2 races. But certainly for our championship contenders, a good haul of points all round.
Yeah, it's a long evening. Like I said, that first race, whenever you get it wrong, it just makes it so much longer. Than many a time I've just had that and just kind of just struggle the rest of the evening because you're just in such a negative mood. So there's, like I said, I mean, Salberg obviously, sadly, with that incident, means they're going to be starting 13th for race 2. Hopefully they can recover it and work their way up to race 3. We'll just have to wait and see. Should we talk hardware?
We can talk hardware. We've got a few minutes before the second race of the evening. So what have you been buying, Phil?
So I'm a Fanatec person. I decided at the start of the year that I would fancy changing up my Fanatec hardware. I managed to get the Podium Hub. And as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, they released the second batch of the Fanatec Podium pedals. So I've decided to upgrade to the Formula pedals that they sell. I missed out on the first batch back in June or July. But I managed to grab they announced yesterday that they'll be going live at 3 p.m. I set an alarm on my phone for 2:55. I took myself to a quiet corner of the office where I work and managed to get a pair about 3:05 after the website crashed and reloaded. I only use 2 pedals. So I have the Fanatec V3 pedals, but I've made adjustments to remove the clutch pedal. So went for these Formula Fanatec Podium ones. So they should arrive next week, and then I haven't done racing in a few months now, so I want to get back into it. And I thought, well, I might as well just go throw one more, throw the dice, and kind of go all in, basically. Go big or go home.
Well, no, congratulations. I'd certainly say to all those watching, listening who do partake in the sim racing hobby, first upgrade anyone should consider if they're getting that next level serious is a solid rig, so you can just feel and have a consistent seating and position for your wheels and your pedals. But the second upgrade should be the pedals. So much enjoyment can be found in working out that muscle memory, dancing around, heel toe, whatever it may be. So very nice, Phil. Congratulations. You'll have to let us know how you get on and give perhaps some running live review or preview, whatever the right review parlance is.
I will have a go. Like I said, I hopefully arrive next week, so in time for our next round. It was it Donington or Croft? Donington. So we'll have to give them a whirl then. On an unrelated note, if anyone wants to buy some Fanatec V3 pedals, please do give me a shout. Little shameless post there. So looking forward to that and getting back into a bit of rally. I want to drive a bit more Le Mans Ultimate. I think that's going to be my next go-to. My iRacing subscription has lapsed. I'm not sure I want to pay for another year of that just yet. I think I'll focus on a little bit of GT3 racing first.
Right, well, we'll have to find out the adventures of Phil and his new pedals. I will ask, but maybe we'll find out in between the second and third races if Phil's been round here in reverse, because you can do that.
Yes.
Put in the snow this year.
It was I did this GR86 in iRacing on Knockhill reverse, thinking, this would be hilarious. My first time properly driving it in reverse. I did terrible when I did round here. I couldn't get the flow of what corner did I struggle at? It was Clark's of all the downhill, what would be the downhill left-hander. I just kept going wide. I just couldn't nail that. The black circle chicane is also a laugh because it's a sudden drop, and then it's a very much a hill climb in McIntyre's, Leslie's, and Duffer's Dip. With the problem being, as you probably know, those GR86s, they're not exactly massive on power. So if you don't get the exit very well, you're just struggling all the way up the hill and all the way along that straight towards Taylor's hairpin.
I do know that pain indeed, both virtually and in real life. But yes, for those who don't know, Knockhill is one of the few circuits in the world which is homologated to be raced in reverse or the normal direction. We're racing in the normal direction tonight. So a unique twist and unique charm of this place is that you can race it either way round. And I don't think I ever actually have raced this in reverse. I've raced the Rallycross circuit. I've raced the Legends Triangle, which is a little cutout where the hairpin is. That's quite good fun on a little Legends car. Yes, a circuit of many layouts and dimensions. So
they're technically an oval here as well. They do oval racing.
Yes, down at the hairpin, yes.
Yeah, the little, you can actually see it on this little cutaway here. That's basically, they just do that little circle. There we go.
Well, there we go. Perfect.
Thank you very much, cameraman. There's that little oval. They do oval racing. I imagine, you could probably run that kind of nearly as quick as the cars could do a lap of the full circuit. I imagine it's so short. I would love to go see some action there. I may be going to Knockhill in October half term, but not to go watch them racing, just because I'm in the area effectively. So I may try and get away. I think there's a go-kart circuit nearby. I've been told by the wife that they have two-seater go-karts, so you can basically take your 6-year-old along. So being told by the cameraman it's at the track. So yeah, I'll see the cameraman in October half term.
Very nice. Well, I was going to say I drove by Knockhill, or very close to Knockhill, a few weeks ago. I waved at the sign, but didn't stop. No, did not
you
stop.
just popped in.
Didn't pop in. No, didn't see Gordon Shedden, who I believe is involved in the running of the circuit. Of course, touring car driver currently in the BTCC. So yes, no, it's a lovely little part of the world. Very beautiful, very picturesque. I think in real life you can see the Forth Bridges, for example, on a good day, on a good clear day. So beautiful part of the world, Scotland. Love being up there. So well, you go and enjoy that in October.
Slight tangent. Don't tell you about the time I also popped in on Sebring.
You did not tell me about this. No.
So 2020, before everything else happened, in February I came back from America, and I was driving from Naples to Orlando Airport, and you basically go past, as a slight divert, you go past Sebring. And so we went up to the security guard at the entrance and said, can I just quickly go have a look at the pit lane? And quickly, literally drove up the start-finish straight to this, obviously on the outside of it, used the toilets, and drove out. And that was I've been to Sebring. Tick, done.
Okay, well, I'm more jealous. Very nice. Yeah, no, I think, there's been a few places I've been to which is quite fun. I went to Silverstone just before the British Grand Prix this year for work, so not to partake in any racing per se, but might be going to Fort Worth and the Texas Motor Speedway next year. So that might be my contribution for broadcasts in the future. My experience of big, flatter, faster, short, well, not short oval, 1.5 mile oval. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I look forward to it. You can compare it to Knockhill.
It's a bit different.
Get a NASCAR, get 30 NASCAR drivers around the Knockhill. Would you even fit 30 cars around? I mean, it's quite big enough.
Yeah, I think you would.
It'd be like the old Coliseum, wouldn't it? They do the old short oval on.
Exactly. No, it's actually, I think that'd be quite a good fun challenge. Actually, particularly say one of the Gen 4 NASCARs, loads of power tires, which are basically stones. Yes, that'd be good fun. Manage the wheel, manage the power application, and all the rest.
Dear VMO admins, I've got a great idea for a winter series, and I'll write it in crayon.
So,
cameraman's like, when do you ever have a good idea? My circuit's in reverse. I've done winter testing. Yes, pretty much. We're moving, by the way. We probably should come back to some racing. We have cars moving off the grid.
Excellent stuff. So, and then another quick, fast formation lap for you. So let's run through our starting order as they make their way down through the first sector. Jordan Richardson, race winner, will start in pole position, followed by second place Luke Mitchell. Tom Stevens in third. Thomas Back will start in fourth, followed by Scott Mitchell-Marm. Dan Hurlock will start in sixth place, followed by Cedo Wire. Harley London will start in eighth, followed by Alan Smith. Martha Allington will round out our top 10.
It's then Jordan Hyde in 11th with Louis Neal, PMR powered by Richardson Co Racing, in 12th. Emil Salberg, let's see where they can recover, starting at 13th. Matthew Williams in 14th. Jack Boney, hopefully to move forward from 15th. Dave Brewster, who I'm happy to report is on the dry tyres now, in 16th. And then it's Callum Wilson in 17th. Robin Moling in 18th, Ben Willis in 19th, and Daniel Scott sadly isn't returning tonight, so now we're down to 19 runners and riders.
But 19 drivers. Oh, I think was that a car going off to the outside there of the hairpin. I think I also heard a bit of contact on the formation lap. So drama before the race even begins here for Race True. Drivers pulling into their grid positions. Again, you see just how much of a elevation change and incline there is for drivers to manage. Always would manage this myself by keeping my foot on the brake while holding the throttle down.
That's Jordan Hyde, who's supposed to be starting 11th. I'm not sure they can get to their grid spot, so we're a little bit stuck here. Just dropped it, trying to spin up the tyres. So we'll just see how they can get themselves into position, and then we'll be good to go.
So as our drivers wait for everyone to get gridded, I think everyone's now in position. We wait for the lights. Lights out and away we go for race 2 this evening. Good even start off the front. Looks like Luke
Herlock's
Mitchell
not
pulling an
started.
ever slight advantage. Oh, we've got Herlock, who's still right at the back of the grid. He's bogged down on the getaway. Luke Mitchell takes the lead. Tom Stevens follows him through. Contact in the middle. Oh, the King's cars are coming across the road. It's going to be a calamity. Cars off, left, right, and centre. And it looks like Jordan Richardson has paid the price. And oh my goodness me, it is a car crash as they run through the chicane.
I'm wondering if we may have to throw a red flag for that one, as everyone's still trying to get going, cars pointing the wrong way. And of course, out of all of this, who benefits the most? Herlock's now recovering a little bit up the few orders. I can't even see where they are. They're back up somewhere. Silly now. The grid's kind of going all over the place for me, but importantly, it's the Kings that have managed to absolutely leg it away from the chaos.
The Kings and Cedo Wire survive, and indeed it looks like Daniel Herlock, who was dead last, leaving the grid, getting down into turn 1, it looks like he has indeed recovered to P6. I cannot recall an instance of a bad start being saved by a crash, but we now have the safety car out on track. I don't think that is expected. We'll have to talk to the race director about that one. Good to see a Corvette on the field, though.
Imagine they're going to red flag the race now and quickly think about turning that off. But everyone has. There's a few that have recovered. We do have a few DNF. I think we have at least one DNF in terms of Martha Allington. Scott Mitchell Marm is 18th. I can't believe Herlock has recovered from 19th. Right at the back of the grid and up to 6th, which just tells you how many cars are involved. Jack Boney, 15th, now up to 7th. Just if you manage to stay out of trouble there, you've recovered very nicely. That's complete chaos, as our cameraman is now going to cipher through and kind of get some shots of what happened there. I couldn't even tell you what happened. I just saw a Kings going sideways towards turn 2, and I think that just kind of started absolute chaos.
Yeah, I think a replays genuinely might be the only way to try and piece together what just happened there. I think a few bits of contact and one thing led to another. So we'll see if we can bring you some angles. We'll see if we can find out what's going on with the safety car here as well. As far as I know, this is not meant to be a factor, but we will see. Looks like we're adding laps as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as we've got a car coming out of the pit lane.
That's Scott Mitchell recovering from the damage, I imagine. And did they get ahead of the safety car? I'm not sure. Should we try and call this all out then? So we've got a nice slow one. So that is Scott Mitchell Marm, the 3rd yellow car in shot. I think he's going to get hit by the inside of Thomas Vack. I could do a whole essay on this in the time it's going to take for this slow-mo. So that's going to be the big hit there. We're then going to have to wait during an entire episode of EastEnders for him to come through into turn 3 sideways. I mean, obviously, once you hit there, it's just, you're a passenger. And it looks like we're going to take Cedo Wire with us for the ride as well. I'm not sure I can talk this long as we wait for him to go across the grass. And it's now a game of who's he going to hit. Luckily, not his own teammate. This is going to be Jordan Richardson, I believe, in 3rd place. You're just going to go...
Look away now, unfortunately. Yeah, just wrong place, wrong time. Boom, straight into the back of that Hyundai. Cedo Wire then collecting the kart marketplace by RSR of Thomas Wire, and everyone else just stacking up with nowhere to go. Cue the concertina.
I think we are still got safety car out as we're going back green.
Green flag, we are back to racing. Safety cars return to the pits. A few extra laps being added. We'll have to see if drivers have really tightly fueled their cars or not, or if they're going to have to manage and perhaps do a little splash and dash. We will see. It's a jumble grid for race 2, but Daniel Herlock is not hanging around. Straight up the inside there of Callum Wilson up to 5th place. I think he knows where he wants to be before too long.
Yeah, it's like Herlock's kind of really... I mean, this would be one hell of a recovery. Oh, no, Bonnie, no! As Bonnie goes with a bench, as there's another car in the background there. I think that was one of the Drake Racing. That was Robin Moling. So it feels like race 3 happening in race 2. Struggling to call what's going on. Mil Salberg, 13th up to 8th as well, is having a great drive already. I mean, great drive, great one lap.
So up the inside he goes there of one of the Brabham Honda Civics, I think that is, in the background. Oh no, I beg your pardon, that's a BMW. It's Dave Brewster, I think. But a good pass there by the Creek Racing by King's driver, recovering from that first race drama. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. We'll have to see if we can spot who's gone wide and had a moment. But as they make their way through Duffer's Dip, Leslie's and into McIntyre's, yes, it's been a bit of a tangled round grid, and looks like race 2, as you say, Phil, has got plenty of race 3 thrills and spills to share with us.
So we did, how many laps did we do under safety car? I did about 3 laps under safety car, and we then had 2 extra laps have been added. So I imagine you're going to be using about half amount of fuel. So you may have 1 lap as we get a replay here of the chaos that then happened behind. So everyone's trying to recover. You've got Speed going slow, you've got Salberg going wide, and then just one little group just collected themselves and exited stage left and ended up with cars pointing the wrong way. That yellow flag, by the way, was Scott Mitchell being lapped for a second time, decided to get out of the way and retire the car, as has also Dave Brewster. So 3 retirements already, and we're technically coming up to a quarter of the way through the race.
It's been an action-packed saga so far. 2 Kings lead the way from Cedar Wire and Matthew Williams. What a race that he is having in his Hyundai, up to 4th place in the middle of all of this drama. Second. Looks like, yeah, Luke Mitchell making a mistake running out of the chicane in Cedar Wire. Oh no, hooking him! Oh gosh, straight into the wall. That is not a pleasant accident to have, and not a thing we want to see.
Yeah, that was just, they got hooked round, and I think they're now going to be out of the race as well, as I think they've parked it. And yep, that's now Luke Mitchell being our 4th retirement. I wonder if that was going to trigger another safety car, but it appears it has not. As now that means that Tom Stevens has a 3-second gap to this fight.
Cedar Wire, Matthew Williams now round out our podium following that contact for Luke Mitchell. That was a big hit. Never want to see cars kind of firing each other off into the wall. Oh, as we've got a car round, it's Herlock. Herlock spinning on the exit of the chicane.
Well, but it's all happening, isn't it? So that's Herlock going down from 4th. He's lost a couple of positions so far. Is he going to lose a 3rd? Down to 7th now, as we see Cedar Wire has got a bit of a gap to Matthew Williams. Yeah, Herlock's now got, who's that behind him? That is Jordan Richardson. 8th place, looking to go around the outside, going to make them tight, and still just going to get space on the exit, and didn't really need to just about, but bad news for Herlock's championship fight.
Yes, and blimey, they make those Hyundais strong to be impacted as Richardson's was. To still be running is quite something. Damage is real as well. We've got a 2-wheel Cedar Wire in his Brabham defending from Matthew Williams and his Hyundai. All over the back of that Honda Civic is Williams at the moment. They'll flash the lights.
Here's a replay then. So Herlock's kind of on his own. Is this just a mistake from Herlock? It looks like it is, yeah. Just over too much of a bounce. Car came down. Look at that for a 360. Wonderful. And just a couple of positions lost there, and then a 3rd to that that looked like Thomas Vack. And then yeah, it looks like they've held off the fight from Jordan Richardson, who should point out is on those medium tyres as well.
It does look like some of the drivers are almost looking to jump the second part of the chicane, and if they're just clipping the curb or perhaps not getting the line just right, suspension is doing some strange things, and they are passengers. So the risks our drivers are taking to extract every possible bit of lap time from this Knockhill race circuit, and not working out this time around for Herlock. Yeah,
unlucky for there, but like I said, still in the race. Obviously, yeah, it's a few more points being lost, but you're still getting a decent haul of points. But now in this, like I said, sandwich of other cars that they didn't expect to be in. I'm still intrigued if they're going to remember that, you know, maybe some drivers aren't going to use their boost to save the fuel for later on. We're being here that Herlock just couldn't get it going. This is Herlock's view. So just absolute chaos. Look at the timing of all this. Chaos going left, right, and centre. Herlock's just driving through it like a Sunday morning drive to the shops to get some milk. The car's flying off. And that's how they went from 19th to 6th, wasn't it, in just 1 lap?
I was going to say, literally parting of the grids, if you will, for Herlock there. A very fortunate recovery. Tom Stevens continues to lead, by the way. We're on lap 10 of 26 now, but he is certainly not hanging around. He is still pushing hard. A little wiggle, little bounce, little wobble through the chicane this time around. He has the fastest lap of the race. Herlock now catching up and recovering, now on the back of Thomas Vack. We'll have to see what Herlock can do. Can he perhaps make a move up the inside here on the hairpin? He's certainly looking. He's late on the brakes. He's diving for the apex, and I think Vack actually made that a bit easy. Just let that BMW pass, and just focusing on his own race.
Yeah, I think the speed that Herlock's got is sometimes it's better just to let a fight not happen. Just let them go for your own speed. Obviously, they've got that Jordan Richardson right behind them. There's no point fighting Herlock and giving Richardson an opportunity. So just let it go and go from there, really.
let it go indeed. And of course, an association, Herlock here driving for RSR. It's Kart Marketplace with RSR. So there's a little bit of an inter-team link up there as well. So perhaps a little bit of cooperation going on as well. So I think it's a good call. If you've got a really fast driver behind you, you're running your race, running your pace, all you can do is finish in the fastest possible time that you can. And holding up a faster driver doesn't tend to enable that.
It doesn't indeed, as we look back at Alan Smith and I've lost the name of that Astra. Bonnie, thank you. Fighting for 14th and 13th place, so still a few points there for Jack, as was unlucky to kind of get hit round later on after the safety car.
On the brakes they go into the hairpin. Alan Smith obviously surviving that melee early on, and with Bonnie having his moment after the restart, these two scrapping over 13th and 14th. I'm sure they both also would want to make forward progress towards Moling, the Drake driver, currently in 12th place and the last possible position for the reverse grid draw. So just a couple of seconds up the road is that 12th place. There it is, just going through the chicane. So if these two perhaps work together, they may be able to close that gap.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth, enemy of my enemy is my friend. It is sometimes worth working with those cars around you. Another person who made lots of places because they started very back near the grid is Callum Wilson. So they're up to 5th. When they started, I think they were like 18th or 17th. So they've made a bunch of places as well. So it looks like if you finish this race, by the way, you're going to get points, because Ben Willis is a lap down, but currently running around in 15th due to the 4 retirements.
Well, there you go. It's a race of attrition. We've not said that too much this season, which is a good thing. But if you are finishing, I mean, the first thing to do, of course, in any race is to finish. So everyone perhaps scoring some points, that will be at least a return for everyone. But halfway through the race now, just a little over, for our leaders, who will be coming up to complete lap 13, start lap 14. There we go, right on cue. Yeah, we will have to hopefully see everyone from this point get themselves around and get themselves to the finish, but do keep an eye out towards the end of the race with those extra few laps. Admittedly not going full speed behind the safety car, I do worry, will folks have enough fuel on board?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking on the lines of, if you're going about half the speed, you'll be using half the fuel. Obviously we did 3 laps, so you've done 2 laps of 1.5 laps worth of fuel. And then you're going to get an extra 2 laps added on. So I reckon people could be at least 1 or 2 short. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the drivers that don't use their boost, because if you use the boost, you go faster, you use more fuel. So I wonder if some drivers have thought about that and thinking, you know what, I'll save the boost. I'll still go flat out, but I just won't use my boost this race to save the top end and save the fuel.
We will see, and I think that's a wise and smart strategy to employ. Alan Smith really hustling, trying to catch up to the back of Jack Bonney here, bouncing, wobbling that Hyundai all over the circuit. Almost, I was worried for a second there, down into McIntyre's. He was about to lose it, but he gathered it up nicely. So the scrap for P13 continues, and these two definitely are bearing down on the back of 12th place while they have this scrap. So I think this duo is going to become a trio before too long.
Yeah, it looks like it could well be. It's always like so. It only takes 2 cars to have a race, but I'd rather have 3 at any time, so or even more. Just looking at the gap at the front, it looks like Tom Stevens extended it down to 4 seconds from Cedo. It looks like because of those the incidents, and then obviously the safety car did bunch everyone back up. But I think after that, with so many cars kind of effectively out of place, and that's no disrespect to some of those that are higher than expected and some of those that are lower, the gaps are kind of all over the place at the moment. So Callum Wilson, for example, is on the back of Salberg in 4th and 5th, and could even get a podium here from 17th on the grid, which would be insane. As we see side by side, Jack Boney and Alan Smith is that, I believe, for 13th and 14th.
Yeah, hard, fast, door-banging touring car racing going on between these two. Alan Smith able to make his way past Bonnie, but Bonnie is not giving this one up. Drag race up the hill. I think Bonnie will get the marginally better exit, but both drivers on the boost. They cross the start-finish line. Think there's a little bit of an overlap. Yes, a little bit of a contact, but Smith holds on to that one. They both make Leslie's and then McIntyre's following that. These two scrappling tooth and nail over 13th.
Yeah, as I said, fights all the way up and down the grid. Just trying to see what other close ones there are. Like I said, there's a little train here of that looks like what Jordan Richardson in 8th. It's Thomas Vac ahead in 7th, and it's Jordan Hyde behind in 9th. Little trio going together. Looks kind of carved himself now a bit of a gap, recovered up to 6th. It's a 4 seconds to, oh no.
So, mistake there for Jordan Richardson, sliding off into the grass. Thankfully, not a repeat of the mass collision we had on lap 1, but drama and tragedy for Richardson there, doing the right thing, waiting for a clear gap to rejoin the race. He's lost a couple places down to 11th.
Yeah, just unlucky there. I think they took too much curb, just bounced over it, and then kind of did the right thing, kind of turned away from the track to kind of get out the way of I think it was Thomas Back they're racing with. As Warmup is currently upside down, so we'll get a replay of that one later as to what happened there, I'm sure. The gap between first and second, by the way, is slowly coming down, 2.6 seconds now. I think maybe, again, Cedo using a bit more of their boost compared to Stevens. Let's get a replay here of Robin Milling. Is this going to be too much curb on the first? No. Is it too much curb on the second? No. Okay. It's going to be too much curb on the third. Yep, and off they go on an adventure. And good old R-Factor replay showing us everything that didn't happen.
On its roof, from what we can see. So the replay just having a bit of a drama there. But speaking of drama, we've got something unfolding here for the final podium position. Matthew Williams having a great race, but he's having to defend hard now from Emil Sahlberg, recovering from his drama in the first race. This is over P3, P4, both drivers hard on the boost, going over the start-finish line to complete lap 18, start 19. Williams holds on to third place as they run through Duffer's Dip, but it certainly looks to me that Sahlberg is asking a lot of questions of him. Yeah,
as I say, they can dive underneath here and get another position. Wilson obviously watching from behind, ready to pounce if either of these guys make a mistake. And yeah, I'm just the places. I mean, all three guys right now have made up a good handful of places. It's a question of, do you kind of stick or twist? I mean, Wilson would love on those medium tyres as well. Thinking of playing the long game, especially with those 2 extra laps, that could be useful to them as we go down towards the hairpin and start climbing up the hill again. It's all about getting a good exit and using that boost at the right time.
None of the drivers here in this trio using boost. Now they are, as they get to the required minimum speed. Up over the crest they come, and as they were starting lap 20, as they were lap 19, I think this is going to simmer and percolate nicely. Williams defending, slowing himself down, taking a less optimal line. Sahlberg taking the more traditional line, carrying a bit more speed, stays right with the Hyundai driver through the chicane they go, hanging on. Does Williams defend here? No, he doesn't. He takes the traditional line, doesn't slow himself down, focuses on the exit, but my goodness me, Sahlberg on the boost. I think he's going to, contact, absolutely, make himself alongside. He's still holding on. Contact with, oh no, that was oh dear, that was hanging on for dear life, and it didn't quite work.
No, and who benefits again? It's Herlock back up to 5th now. Wilson is still going around, is still holding on to 4th position. That looks like a tap that then Sahlberg kind of struggled to get the car back straight again, and did the right thing holding on to the brakes, and then obviously Wilson just didn't realise the car would be cutting across with the brakes on. Not that they didn't try to kind of change their braking line, they just couldn't handle the tap. That'll be one for the stewards later, I think.
Definitely, it's a tank slapper type moment almost for Sahlberg there. The initial contact didn't quite hold; it was on the grass, then just lost control, and as you say, one thing led to another. So Wilson survives; he's still in 4th. Herlock makes a place, goes up to 5th. Williams, a little bit of breathing room for him in 3rd place. Sahlberg, the big loser.
Yeah, it is indeed. Also worth pointing out now, the gap between 1st and 2nd has come down to under a second. That was 4.6 earlier. Obviously got 5 laps to go, including this one. So that's going to be Cedo just starting to make their move. Like I said, a few extra laps of boost over their rival, which they are going to start using. And hopefully all drivers have been made aware that it's going to be 26 laps, not 24, because there's still a few laps to go.
There is. I'd love to see some lap times, just see if the drivers are backing off a little bit. Plenty of ways to try and save fuel, but it's tough in a touring car in a sprint race format to save a couple of litres of fuel. You're lifting and coasting, you might do in, say, a prototype sports car. Yes, it's not as easy as in those machines. So yes, 4 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line. Still running 49-second lap time, so it still looks like pretty much full pace to me. 2 wheels for Cedo, he's pushing, and he has indeed caught the back of this King's car, who I suspect may be just keeping an eye on that fuel number.
Yeah, I think that'll be the thing to do now. We've got Sahlberg racing Thomas Vac in 6th place. We've also got Wilson 3rd and 4th, also nose to tail, just ahead of these guys, as these guys are really fighting it. And Vac definitely wants that 6th place and first opportunity of getting that reverse pole. Salberg's still in a decent position, but really wants to recover even more so. There's a little bit of kick up there of the old gravel, but just about all still holding on together. And it's Haley. Oh, there's something going on here as we've got Wilson fighting Williams for 3rd place and Herlock just behind.
Yeah, I think surely a good exit there for Wilson out of Clark as they ran down the Hislop straight. Williams now, valiant effort, running in 3rd place, but down to 4th, and if he's not too careful, it might be down to 5th as an opportunistic Herlock is keeping his eyes open and trying to make a move. But my goodness me, look at the straight line speed that Hyundai has. Comfortably drives by Wilson there. I'm not sure if there's a bit of boost being used, but Wilson retakes that 3rd place with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, this looks like this and the top 2 are the main 2 battles to watch, and we get picture of Salberg as well, as it looks like they've pulled away a little bit up to 6th place. Hopefully going to get to see what the front 2 are up to very soon, as Wilson right on the back of Williams. We now get picture of the top 2 as well, which is very useful as they start what will be the penultimate lap.
Yeah, Wilson ahead as he goes into the hairpin, but going around a long way, longer distance. You have to carry the speed, and that time of asking, Williams with a shorter route, able to complete the distance faster. Over the start finish line they go. I think Wilson marginally ahead as they turn into Duffer's Dip. Space left, racing respect given, and looks like Wilson's got that one. Oh, contact for Herlock. He's gone into the side there of Williams. Williams continues though, thankfully not spun round as they hop their way through the chicane. I think Herlock trying to make a move there where there wasn't one to be had.
Yeah, I don't think that was really a move to be made, as he kind of saw Wilson going through and thought, well, I need to go through now as well if I want to try and get a podium. And that wasn't the right way of going about it, as our leaders start the final lap. The gap is now 6/10 as we see Wilson now having to be a little bit more defensive, and it looks like Herlock's now going to dive down the inside and get that position. Has Williams got any boost to use? They both have, so this will be a fight on the final lap.
Yeah, I think Wilson's going to have his mirrors full of a charging Dan Herlock. Williams, I think, went overly on attack and left himself vulnerable, and Herlock took full advantage as they make their way into McIntyre, just casting our eyes to the picture-in-picture. He still continues to lead himself and Wire using boost as they run down towards the hairpin for this, the last time of asking. Wire really driving his Honda really hard into the corner there, but not able to get up alongside or make a move. Tom Stevens comes across the start-finish line to win race 2, followed by Cedo Wire. A roller coaster, topsy-turvy event. Stevens just managed his pace and managed it beautifully from the front. As we wait for the final podium position to be decided, Callum Wilson surviving the melee as well. A huge position gain, and that's a fantastic podium for him. Dan Herlock coming home in 4th. Matthew Williams, valiant drive, holding that podium place for most of the race, came home in 5th.
Yeah, it was like there were some proper fights there. As Herlock, imagine that, starting all the way up in 6th, going down to the back of the grid, recovering all the way back up to 4th, and Wilson starting 17th, managing to avoid all the carnage and finishing further. Some great stories to be had here. Williams done really well there. Bonnie gets a few points, finishing in 12th. Ben Willis finishing. There was 3 cars a lap down. At the end, he finished a lap down and still gets 2 points for 14th. I don't think Robin Ruling, sadly, being 10 laps down and retired, will get the point for 15th. But there was points to be had if you kept on the grey stuff.
They are race 1 winner Jordan Richardson, our final runner and rider, finishing in 11th there. I think you used an ideal word to describe that one, Phil. Stories. So many stories and storylines throughout the race, and well, this is a little screenshot. We saw this in practice. Perhaps this was a sign of things to come. Tom Stevens having a drama in practice, but not in the second race. He won beautifully in race 2. So let's run through our finishing order. Tom Stevens won race 2, followed by Cedo Wire in 2nd. Callum Wilson for Sector 1 Esports in 3rd. Dan Herlock continues his championship campaign and what can only be described as the ultimate recovery drive in 4th. He was followed by Matthew Williams in 5th. Emil Sarbo came home in 6th, followed by Thomas Flack. Harley London continues a good evening again for herself in 8th, followed by Jordan Hyde in 9th. Our final top 10 finisher was Louis Neal.
So the PMR powered by Richardson Co Racing. You forgot to add that, Chuggy. In 11th place was Jordan Richardson, teammate. PMR powered by Richard & Co Racing. Jack Boney in 12th, a few points to them. Alan Smith in 13th, and our last finisher in 14th was Ben Willis. And then, a few DNFs of Robin Wooding, Luke Mitchell, Dave Brewster, Scott Mitchell-Mum. So not the best race for the Kings guys, and Martha Allington in 19th. That was complete chaos. Yes, the admins are currently talking about red flags and safety cars and stuff. It was not something we expected, but it did a damn good job, I thought.
I think it managed it quite well. It's always one of those, I think, tricky situations. I think for those caught in the melee there, of course, if you see a yellow flag, I'd suggest might need to be a bit cautious for a moment. But I think the safety car did a good job of gathering everybody up. Not expected, but I think it did its job quite well. And selfishly, as a Corvette fan, always good to see a Corvette on track. So yes, a bit of unexpected drama there in the second race. Normally, our third race is the action-packed event, but we still have that to come.
Yeah, and it's obviously look forward to seeing the first grid. I mean, imagine if it's number 12 and it's Jack Boney gets his first pole for race 3. I mean, I really hope that happens. And then obviously we're looking at Salberg 6th. Vac 7th, and I've just lost the list, so I have to wait on the random number generator to see who they get put on pole, and then be able to call it after that gets called itself.
Yes, so it's a whirly curly-whirly of a race. That's what I'm trying to say. And well, Phil, you have to tell me what the lottery numbers are, because I think you've just predicted our pole position man.
It's number 12. It's Jack Boney. So Jack Boney will be starting on pole position. I don't know if we're going to get this image back. That's a fantastic image. I'm going to make desktop wallpaper. So that's Jack Boney is going to be in first, and it's Jordan Richardson second. It's then the other PMR powered by Richardson Co Racing of Louis Neal in third. Jordan Hyde will start fourth. Harley now starts fifth. Thomas Vac sixth. God, it's really hard when you can see numbers there. Emil Selberg 7th, Williams 8th, Herlock 9th. That'll be a fun one to watch again with not as much boost. Wilson will be 10th, Cedo 11th, and it'll be Stevens now starting in 12th with only 4 laps of boost. This has got chaos written all over it, and that's after race 2. So God knows how race 3 is going to work out.
It's going to be chaos, I imagine. It's the first, I think, full reverse grid that we've had this season, and I don't think we've had it right. I'm often wrong, so I'll rescind my remark. But it's good to see Jack. Of course, he had a great second race, and he finds himself on pole position. And it's one of the reasons I do love this reverse grid format. It gives folks who perhaps might not get the opportunity normally to start from the front and show what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, so Jack managed to. So last time out at Thruxton, 16th for race 1, 19th for race 2, 15th for race 3. This one, they've kind of made improvements. Finished 15th in race 1, 12th in race 2, and now starting, stayed out of trouble by the looks of it, and then starting that third race on pole. It's how I got my first pole here. It was at Brands Hatch. There's obviously luck involved. It is a random number generator after all, but you've got to be in it to win it. And this is going to be a bit of a baptism of fire, I imagine, with all those drivers behind them. But at least they have the maximum amount of boost starting pole, having finished 12th.
Yes, so all of the tools to use to try and run away. Of course, drivers who had through luck or skill, and perhaps both, finished quite well in the second race will have less to work with. And of course, we've got some very quick drivers in the likes of Luke Mitchell and Scott Mitchell-Mum, the Kings drivers in particular, starting right at the back as well. So this, I think, is going to be quite busy, quite good fun. So like I say, get your cup of tea, get your biscuit of choice, and get ready, I think, for an act.
It's going to be a fun one to kind of try and call, I imagine, as it's all kicking off.
Yeah, I think everyone just in the driver chat going, safety car? What safety car? Wasn't expecting that. And trying to work out. I think everyone a little bit shell shocked in the race that we just saw there.
Well, we had this. So the admins just kind of giving a bit of an explanation, based saying, "Yeah, we didn't know that was going to happen either, but we didn't want to red flag the race for something." Actually, did a pretty damn good job of sorting everything out. We had an incident few years ago now at Croft where the safety car came out and it refused to go back in, so that race did have to get red flagged because we were going to do like 13 laps behind the safety car, but this one it yeah, okay, it wasn't a procedure we expected, but it did follow the procedure that everyone knows safety cars do. We're now aware of it at least. It'll be reviewed for next time, but yeah, you still had to be in it to win it. They will obviously look into that face the turn 1 shenanigans and penalise anyone that needs to be penalised.
Yes, fingers crossed. Like I said, I think it actually worked reasonably well. I've certainly been in virtual races where I would have asked for a safety car because I think it was the right thing to do, and I think that did a pretty good job sorting out what was a pretty significant accident. I think, Phil, certainly in my memory, the biggest accident I've seen in TCUK we just had there, where I think only about 4 or 5 cars escaped unscathed.
The two Kings obviously started. They pulled away and got away with it. I think you then had because then Jordan Richardson from third was the first one to get hit by that other Kings car, and then it just kind of all backed up. And once everyone's lost their speed, and you've still got cars coming through at full speed, it looks like some drivers weren't aware of what's going on. But then, again, credit where credit's due. You had Herlock come through that field. He was aware of what's going on. Maybe it was a bit further back that he missed the kind of second group of chaos, but they still had to, take understand what's happening. And again with Bonnie as well, you still have to take in your surroundings, understand where the cars are going, and just be careful. And you will that benefit from it that way rather than just going full on in. We're just hearing in terms of why Herlock had such a bad start. It sounds like the car was stuck in neutral, which I remember having problems on my old Suzuki Alto back in the day.
Very well. That's as far as these things go, I'm just trying to think. Short of doing manual pedals, I don't think I've ever recalled a car getting stuck in neutral in the virtual world. But there we go. He recovered. I was going to say sometimes skill, sometimes luck. I think in the grand scheme of things, that was one of the best recoveries from a bad situation that you could hope for as a driver.
Yeah, I can only guess it's a mechanical issue with their actual gear stick, either the flappy paddle gearbox. So I always use flappy paddles. I've got 2 Fanatec wheels, the Podium F1 rim with some pineapple grips. If you've not heard of pineapple grips, there's a plug. Really recommend pineapple grips for getting your the hand rests retextured. And I've got a flat bottom steering wheel. Also with the clutch and paddles. So I've not got a gear stick per se, but I can only guess that they had issues literally mechanically pulling first gear. And somehow, once they got going, they also managed to fix the mechanical issue. I'm not sure. That's something to ask Herlock later.
Yeah, something to find out. I must admit, I think while driving touring cars or maybe some rallycross cars, I am lucky that I do have a physical sequential as well as H-pattern shifter to my left-hand side, and I don't know, it's something quite tactile and satisfying. Slamming through gears, pushing things around. So,
do you feel faster? What cars do you use it in, and do you feel faster, or do you just like the authenticity of it?
I do feel faster. So like I say, normally touring cars, sometimes rallycross cars, although I do sometimes use it as a handbrake, just to get instant handbrake application. But yes, I think there's a big thing in rhythm, or at least I always found a big thing in rhythm. And having the gears there to either rapidly shift up or down, whatever the case may be, it's kind of another reference point. You look for, I don't know, landmarks or things to judge your braking points. Well, changing gears, it's not a guaranteed thing to always happen in the same place, but you get into that muscle memory, that rhythm of it, and I did find it easier in a touring car to slam around a sequential gearbox physically.
Enough. I've always, like I said, I used to have the gear stick. I just never used it. That's why I moved on. I think I prefer to have 2 hands on the wheel at all times. So yeah, I'm a flappy paddle. Even if it's like an 80s Skoda Favorit throwing around some Spanish mountainous terrain, I'd still rather have a flappy paddle gearbox, even if it isn't authentic.
Well, and also, at least I'll say as well, it makes you feel like a bit of a racing car god. I don't know, just whatever.
Yeah.
So to each their own. But hopefully that doesn't, of course, occur or reoccur for Dan Herlock in this 3rd race. With this topsy-turvy grid, Phil, who would you suggest our lovely viewers keep an eye out for?
Based on the chaos of race 2, I have no idea. I don't really know at the moment. I think it'd be fun to see those PM. Jordan Richardson seems to have had a topsy-turvy evening. Obviously now they'll be starting, 10th, I think. So they may be worth watching. I mean, Herlock's always worth watching as long as they can get their car in gear. At least it wasn't stuck in second gear, you could say, to reference a familiar song. Yeah, I don't really know. Apart from that, really, I think it's just going to be keep an eye on everything all at once somehow.
Yep, I think keep an eye out for Jordan Richardson. He's clearly got pace in his car tonight. He's on the option tyre, the medium tyre, so we have to see how he manages that. But he'll be starting on the front row. He's had one race win. Can he get two? We will find out. So as our drivers are just gridding up now for the third and final race of the evening, just a big hello to everyone watching along on the YouTube and other streams. Lovely to have you with us and see your comments. I think actually we had Alan Smith in the chat briefly on the YouTube chat. So thank you, Alan, for watching along while and driving. That's multitasking. I couldn't do that. So fair do.
Quick shout out, Herlock saying wheel bugging out. It's another push to me just selling the Fanatec stuff. There's me kind of calling Fanatec's decent stuff, and he's saying nope, I'm going to switch out all the Fanatec stuff. So each their own. But yeah, literally it sounds like them just the wheel. So using flappy paddles on a wheel and just weren't able to pull first gear and just sat on the grid until they could. I imagine they're going to be holding first gear for this race 3 as they slowly pull away.
We will, hopefully, fingers crossed. Now I think about it, actually, there's been a few times, particularly in Formula cars, where I've pulled the pedal, the gear change pedal. I've had it change 2 gears, which was not what I wanted either. So, who knows? Anyway, our drivers are on their formation lap, so let's run through the starting order for the tonight's third and final race. Jack Bonney starts in pole position, followed by Jordan Richardson. Louis Neal will start in 3rd place, followed by Jordan Hyde. Harley London will start in 5th place. Thomas Vac will start 6th, followed by Emil Sahlberg. Matthew Williams will start in 8th, followed by Dan Herlock. Callum Wilson rounds out our top 10.
I'd like to see Herlock start, because if he doesn't go forward, you'll see a lot of cars going forwards past him. Cedo Wire starting 11th with Tom Stevens in 12th. Alan Smith 13th with Ben Willis in 14th. You've then got the Kings Racing of Luke Mitchell in 15th. Martha Allington in 16th, and it's Scott Mitchell-Mum in 17th. We've had a couple of more people drop out, so it looks like we're having 17 runners and riders for this final race.
So 17 cars down from 20 at the start of the evening, but we will, I'm sure, still have a good race with the 17 drivers who are still with us. You can see the level of preparation here that Herlock's putting in, trying to get as much temperature and feel into his BMW as he approaches his grid slot. And again, you can get a real good sense of the incline here. I keep mentioning it, it's such a tricky place to get the car away, even when your gearbox is behaving properly. So, as everyone now takes their grid positions, we wait for the lights and the revs to rise. Lights out and away we go. It's a good start from the 2 Hyundais. It looks like Jack Bonney trying to cover the inside and just about gets across. Richardson, though, steals a march and is just ahead as they enter turn 1 for the first time. Contact between Bonney and Richardson. Looks like Richardson taking the line and holds on to first place. We've got side-by-side action. The 2 PMR powered by Rich & Co Racing, they are literally hooked together here. Bonney not giving up this one. Louis Neal trying to get ahead and now has the inside for the right-hander contact. Bonney is not taking no for an answer. He holds on to second place. Robust defence.
Yeah, Bonney's taking names and leaving no one behind as we see a wonderful view of the hairpin as that's the Richardson Co diving down the PMR. Diving down the inside, and it looks like everyone's going to be fighting for P3 here. And Sahlberg was the one going backwards, but they have still pointed in the right direction and running in 16th at the moment. And back down 17th.
Yeah, Bonney being out-dragged. He's trying to get alongside. Oh, contact, they've hooked together. Are they going to make and regain the circuit? Yes, they are. Yes, getting a bit too feisty now, perhaps crossing a little bit of the driving standards lines, but they're still thankfully in the race, going through the chicane. Louis Neal now in second place. Jordan Richardson, while all this is going on, building a nice gap. Cars scattering and running offline there through the chicane. I think that was Alan Smith in the background there. Yeah, the third race, it's off to a rapid start.
It is indeed. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 for someone. I've not seen who it is. I think now Louis Neal can now act as a rear gunner for the other PMR, as you see a replay here. So trying to get the back, Sahlberg kind of caught in a sandwich between Harley and Herlock and just about stay out of everyone's way. So a good kind of J-turn out of the way. They're still running in, where are they up to now? 14th. It looks like they had a first time in Luke Mitchell.
Dear, not so good for the King's driver. Oh no, contact there. That was one of the calamities. I think that was Harley London being spun around there. Goodness me, there's all sorts of action in the at the top of
the chicane there. Yeah, as we see, Herlock is now, like I said, made up 5 places again. Bonnie obviously dropped down 2. Yeah, it looks like got hooked round Luke Mitchell with another car at the after the chicane, as we now see. Looks like another Hyundai trying to dive down the inside, and now that slows everyone down, and everyone's trying to take advantage of it. And everyone going here for what looks like 5th place. There's a proper train of cars all over the place. Gives Herlock a bit of breathing room down in 4th.
Scott Mitchell-Marm effectively from the back of the grid is up to 7th place, so it's been a good few laps for him. Looks like he wants a bit more though. Up to 6th place he goes, up the inside of Cedo Wire there. We've got the 2 Kings cars from the opposite ends of the grid coming together, converging.
Sometimes they don't literally come together because they've not been known for that before when fighting each other. But yeah, so that's Stevens ahead of Mitchell-Marm. And importantly, where is Herlock these days? He's just a few seconds up the road from this battle, still fighting the back of Jack Boney, and I think is probably going to hopefully get a move done soon, as he's right on the tail.
As we've got this long trail of cars from 5th all the way through, I think down to 12th or 13th, all in effectively one line, our leaders continue to make a gap. Let's see what happened here between Harley London and is this Herlock up the inside, very bold, very late, little bit of touch, and contact with the King's car there actually caused the rotation.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of 2 cars too wide, didn't expect a car there, and that was Stevens flipping around Harley London, so that's them down a few places. They are currently down in 14th.
Jack Bonny down to 4th place, Dan Herlock now up to 3rd, so he's not had a podium finish yet tonight, but looks like he is well on his way to try and secure one here in the 3rd race of the evening. Bonny, though, not giving up. He's on the boost, trying to recover time. Here we've got Salberg, who had that moment earlier on. Looks like he's going side by side with Ben Willis here. Over the start-finish line they go. This is over P12 and 13. Looks like Salberg slips up the inside there into Duffer's Dip, but Willis still hanging on and asking questions as they run through McIntyre's.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Kings of Stevens in 5th place is now the next person to be right on the back of Bonny. And obviously you got the other Kings right behind as well. I imagine if they're going to use boost, now's the time to use it, or they're going to try and just use good old slipstream. This also gives a good view of Scott Mitchell-Marm. That's Jack taking the inside. And it looks like they're going to find a car's width and make use of it. And it looks like Scott's going to also try and get his teammate to hold right and use the slipstream. And whoa, that Vauxhall just about fits in that gap and forces their own slipstream back and gives the racing line back to Scott, and now gives the inside to Bonny. Are they going to be able to make use of it? There's contact there with the car ahead, and then contact with the car behind as Scott's now going to try this inside, and that's going to cause contact. Is it going to cause a flip? Not quite.
The attack now becomes defence, as I think this is Cedo Wire smells an opportunity now on the battling Scott Mitchell-Marm. Oh goodness me, Bonny off wide, going through the chicane. Well, there you go. Scott Mitchell-Marm's made his place now. Bonny recovers, and it looks like, unfortunately for Cedo Wire, he is going to be the loser here, having to check up and lose some momentum. Looks like he's hanging on though to 7th place, but here comes Callum Wilson, Matthew Williams, 3 wide on the brakes. Into they go, into the Taylor's hairpin. And they all just about exit facing the right direction. Some good touring car racing here. Everyone is fighting tooth and nail for every inch of racetrack.
It is proper elbows out. Are we all going to make it through turn 1? Just about. Everyone going to make a silly, interesting dive into turn 2? Not quite. Martha's going to look for the outside line, give the inside here. Bit of boost. Now got the inside. I think that's going to be a position gain. That's an interesting line over that curve. I've never seen a jump like that before, but they have made it through. They have made the position.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't tend to see overtakes into the chicane there, but Martha made it work. I think, as you say, optimizing, targeting the better exits, and just got the run and the overlap. So position there for Allington, cleanly done.
Yeah, great. Obviously, in terms of championship, you've got Herlock in 3rd, it's Stevens in 4th, so there'll be a couple of points lost in this one, but I think in the grand scheme of things this evening, Stevens would be happy with call it the evening there, as we see Cedo Wire and Jack Bonnet are fighting over 6th and 7th, and Jack's not afraid to go a little bit of rubbings racing, are they? But are they going to hold it through? No, it's not going to work. That's going to cause a bit of chaos, I feel, and that's Jack, I think, out.
Yeah, Jack ending up on the inside there of the circuit into the tyre wall. 2 into 1 again does not go, and these cars, I mention it pretty much every week, they are so delicately balanced when they're in the corners. Drivers taking every possible bit of grip out of these machines, which means a little touch, a little bit of unexpected input, and they will snap, they will slide, and they will go off in a sporadic fashion, as Jack has found out there.
Yeah, they are still going in 14th. Replay now. I think it's just, yeah, it turned in on that Honda. It's still there, and that Honda's obviously, on 2 wheels. Can't say they're under control, but they did at least stop missing any barriers. There's no barriers over there, which I've learned something about this track. So luckily for them, they are still running to hopefully to a couple of points in 14th, but it's a 5-second gap to 13th.
Yeah, Jack not wanting to take the rallycross circuit on this time of asking, and has rejoined, and as you say, running in the points still, but yes, a bit of an adventure for him there from the pole and from the front of the field down to 14th. As our drivers here make their way through the chicane for this, the 10th time of asking, this midfield group, Callum Wilson 6th place down, still pretty much all together here, and if we start to get some scraps between these drivers, you can be sure to see drivers quickly moving up and down the field. Perhaps a little breakaway here, the top 3 drivers, Wilson, Allington and Wire, but you've certainly got the remaining set of Sahlberg, Hyde, Willis not far behind.
Yeah, a bit of a gap then back to no, not to London. Obviously, London in 13th, and then a bit of a gap to back in 14th place as cars start to work out where they need to be. As we see a fight here between Matthew Williams and Emil Sahlberg. I love the kind of white and blue versus red and blue going on, as that's going to be nearly over, and that's going to be a few places lost, sadly, for Sahlberg. They're running down now in 12th place. Harley London's going to try and make it an optimistic move as well, up to not quite, still behind in 13th.
One mistake, multiple places lost, unfortunately. Emil Sahlberg found that out the hard way. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Herlock continues to make his way forward. He's now up to 2nd place. He's now gotten past Louis Neal. Neal now down to 3rd position. There is still a 6 or so second gap, though, between Herlock and Richardson, with half of the race now in the book. So we'll have to see what pace Herlock has.
Yeah, I think Louis Neal made a mistake here. So this is on board with the BMW. So over the chicane, that Hyundai took a horrible landing. It looks like, did they keep it out the wall? Not quite sure about that, but they are still running in 3rd place, as we see the Kings of Scott Mitchell Marm also just kind of chopping away a few bits more gravel in that gravel trap.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to get a few more bags from the local DIY shop to patch up the gravel trap there. But yes, drivers struggling with that chicane, not getting the landing quite right, perhaps just hitting the curb on the way through, and finding out the hard way that the chicane is not to be trifled with. Louis Neal now having to go fully defensive. He's got Tom Stevens for close company, as Phil mentioned earlier. The championship fight still in the offing here, so I think Stevens will want to stay as close as possible to Herlock to try and minimise any point deficit that may occur. Through the Butcher's Corner they go up to the chicane, bang and bash through the chicane they go. Louis Neal still holding the place and briefly on the Brewster as they run into Clark.
Yeah, just how some of these cars are landing. To me, it feels like a bit of a lottery. They're hitting the ground so hard as whether they're going to bounce back up and fly towards the gravel or the tyres, or whether they're going to spin it around, or luckily most of the time keep it straight. I mean, there's a reason they're driving and I'm not now. As we see, I think that's Martha and Wilson behind, swapping positions. I think maybe a mistake there, because it looks like Martha's lost a couple actually out of that, so I have to grab a replay of that in a minute. That's what went wrong there. Martha running around in 8th place. Still got quite a few laps of boost left to go compared to the cars ahead, so you never know.
Definitely lost a few places. Let's see what we can see here on the replay. Following Wilson down the Hislops straight on the brakes into the hairpin, and is this just ever so slightly too deep? Yes, a bit too brave, and oh goodness me, finding the grass and the exit curb, in fact. So bravery, 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, the execution not quite matching that score.
Yeah, went from, like I said, fighting for one position to losing another. As we got a yellow in sector 2, not quite sure who for at the moment, although I see Alan Smith is currently in the pits at Harley London. Looks like they've had an issue going through the chicane. Yep, they're going to go just round on the exit. Again, there's that jump, a little bit of gravel, and around they go. And they had a big hit, so I'll be surprised to get they've DNF'd, because that's our second retirement.
So perhaps we'll get a replay of that one. Ben Willis continuing around here in 10th place. He's got Jordan Hyde for company. Jordan, the only driver in the top 15, still running with the option medium tyre. So I think he's got a big task ahead of him here to make some progress, given the pace of that tyre. But Willis, a bit of drama in the first race, but recovering nicely in second and third.
Yeah, that's a nice little recovery there to get top 10 for race 3. It's always nice, if you have that bad race 1, it's always nice to kind of at least get some sort of recovery that you can say, well, at least I can move forward, and hopefully I just do a better race 1 next time out to help with that moving forward next time. Gap, by the way, between first and second is currently 6 seconds, one to keep an eye on as we get a few more of these laps. Oh, he's gone wide. Hang on, he's going to lose a chunk of time here. Sorry, Dan Herlock just went very wide, lost a few seconds there, which, never mind, the gap's up to 8, and now he's got Louis Neal and Tom Stevens company.
I was just about to say, Louis Neal and Tom Stevens just forming up for a fight now. It's a three-way fight for second place. Let's just see here, replay of Harley London. Oh, yes, just running wide onto the gravel, I beg your pardon, out of the chicane, and quickly finding herself in the inside wall. So pity for her evening to end that way there. But yes, Herlock in pushing has made a mistake and now has Louis Neal and Tom Stevens for close company. I was about to comment that Stevens hasn't yet been able to make a way past Neal yet, which it shows what a good job that Louis is doing, minding his own race, keeping his car online. My goodness me, Herlock sliding that BMW through the right-hander there, but yes, Herlock making mistakes. We don't tend to see that.
Yeah, here's a replay of it. Just looks like this went too much speed, missed the apex, going that slidey way, but then obviously going gravel and then some. And they've managed to get back onto the track and recover. You've got to go off. At least you've got a lot of gravel there to recover onto.
So Herlock does have the fastest lap, which will gain him a bonus point, but yes, not ideal to be making mistakes, particularly when you're trying to make progress and make places. Speaking of making places, looks like Ben Willis is not done. He doesn't want to finish in 10th. He's trying to get past the Hyundai of Matthew Williams. Williams up the inside to defend. Looks like Willis was ready for that one. He's focused on the exit and he's now up the inside, got a better run, and looks like as they cross the start-finish line to complete lap 18, Willis secures that position.
Yep, just use the boost on exit. Exactly what they were going to do there. Yeah, that's another position gained. There's a bit of a gap now, 6 seconds to the car ahead in Martha Allington. And we'll see what they can do with that as we see Louis Neal. I'm just trying to work out who's got the most boost here. It is Louis Neal, can boost every single lap to the finish, whereas Herlock has a couple less. So Louis is a little bit flashing the old Ricky Collard school of flash a Hyundai lights to see if we can put the driver ahead off. But I don't think Herlock's going to fall for that one.
I'm not sure he will. Speaking of flashing headlights, there was one race I did where, unbeknownst to me, whenever I hit a curb, my headlights would flash. That was a hardware failure. Anyway, moving on. Louis Neal, yes, I think will be, with that boost, asking some serious questions of Dan Herlock. It certainly looks like that PMR powered by Richard & Co racing machine has got serious pace this evening, and he is using it to good effect. My goodness me, though. I think he was a bit wide, and it looks like that is the opportunity that Tom Stevens needed. We've got wipers. Thank you, cameraman extraordinaire, for pointing that out. Do we have some rain just to round off the evening? We will see. But side by side, a little bit of contact. Neal and Stevens both on the boost, both hard and late on the brakes. Stevens nicely stopped, gets to the apex. Has he completed the move? Yes, he has. Finally found a way past Louis Neal, but this is far from done.
Yeah, it looks like so. Yeah, we've got a little bit of rain at the moment. Nothing too serious. So we've still got 15 cars on track, so they will be drying it. I think at 1% rain, it's not going to be too heavy. They can kind of live with this quite happily. The gap at the front now is extended to 9 seconds with obviously Herlock, Stevens and Neal fighting each other. It's just crazy the lines that Herlock has to take through here. He's obviously got 4 laps of boost to Stevens 3, so a little should be okay. Oh, there's only 1 lap. Basically, Stevens can't use the boost, which obviously is going to be this lap by the looks of it, as we get a nice outside view as we come to the chicane. Yeah, obviously Mitchell Marm now back in the fight as well, fighting Neal to hopefully ease the pressure on Stevens to attack Herlock, the championship rival.
Yes, so weather, a few laps, 3-lap sprint here, boost pretty much equal between these drivers. And well, I must say, riding on some of the onboards tonight, I must admit, perhaps been better to bring some rally type suspension for some of these curbs that the drivers are assaulting as they make their way around this race circuit tonight. So through the chicane they go again. Herlock through the chicane there, everyone else follows. Hard on the brakes they go. Louis Neal using a bit of boost there, trying to catch onto the back of Stevens. So I think this fight for second place far from over.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Richardson. He's 9 seconds, 10 seconds up the road. Doesn't really care. Just sort of shoot through the screen there, so far ahead that this is the not even got any TV shots of him. So sorry, mate, but because this is where the real race is at the moment. As we see them out, Louis Neal and Mitchell in 4th and 5th. Using that boost, is Louis Neal going to look down the inside of Stevens? Thinks better of it. Stevens used a little bit at the start of the lap, which is an interesting way about it.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that too much this evening. Well, he's committed himself to using the boost for the rest of this lap. We'll see where he chooses to do that. Certainly got a good run there. Bit of a gap opened up to Louis Neal through the first sector, and it certainly looks like he's putting Herlock under big pressure. Stevens choosing to use the boost on this lap, Herlock not, and my goodness, the front bumper of that Honda Civic is right on the back bumper of that BMW. Down the Hislop straight they come towards the Taylor's hairpin. Oh, contact! Louis Neal wanted to get involved, and for my money, Tom Stevens has got alongside Herlock. You can see the rain on the cars, and my goodness me, Tom Stevens, what an exit out of the hairpin. On the boost he goes, so does Herlock, and up and over the start finish line. But I think Herlock with that boost might just have done enough to reach the position. Contact, big contact between Stevens and Herlock. Louis Neal getting involved. Somehow they're all still on the track. Contacts banging, bashing, and off into the gravel goes Stevens. Will Mitchell Marm pass him? Yes, he will. Oh my goodness me, that is drama in the closing stages tonight.
That was absolute chaos. And again, Herlock survives another day. I think now he's got a bit of a gap to Louis Neal. Yeah, about 8/10 of a second. So a bit of a gap now to kind of breathe as Richardson's about to start the last lap. I'm not sure there's going to be another contention for second place, but definitely for third, I imagine.
So drama right in the closing stages. I think perhaps Stevens just a little bit unsighted, unprepared for the braking zone, and kind of made his own mischief there. And well, thankfully all four still running, no one out of this one. But unless there is a significant moment, I think there is enough of a gap here between the drivers. I can't see the two Kings cars scrapping too hard at this stage of the race. We haven't mentioned him. He's driven the perfect race, but Jordan Richardson with a 10-second gap, which is a huge margin in a sprint race format, has driven a superb race, just focused on what he needed to do in the mixed conditions. And while everyone else were causing themselves dramas, Richardson won the first race, and as he now exits the hairpin for the last time of asking and flashes the lights, wins the third race tonight in superb style. As we now focus on the remaining cars to finish, Daniel Herlock comes home in second place, Louis Neal in third, Scott Mitchell-Marm and Tom Stevens, they did race each other a bit there right at the end, but Stevens won out, coming home in fourth place. My goodness me, the leaders giving us a real scrap right up until the very end there. So as we wait for everyone else to come across the start-finish line, looks like we've got 15 drivers still circulating. It looks like we're just waiting for our pole position man, Jack Bonney, to finish. Here he comes into the hairpin for the last time of asking. Started on pole, didn't quite work out, but he gave it his best, and he certainly gave us his touring car elbows out, trying to defend his place. But over the start-finish line he comes, and that will be everyone finished for race 3 tonight.
Yeah, that was not as much chaos as race 2, but still quite a lot of stuff going on to kind of keep track of. And yeah, another fun evening in the books. And Knockhill always delivers such a short circuit, and yeah, it was a good fun one to call out.
As we bring back the moment for Tom Stevens in the background here, let's run through our finishing order here for race 3 tonight. Jordan Richardson for PMR, powered by Richardson Co Racing, 2 wins tonight. He wins the third race this evening. Daniel Herlock continues his good championship run. He finished in second place, followed by Louis Neal, a great result for the PMR, powered by Richardson Co Racing team this evening. Tom Stevens for Kings came home in 4th, followed by his teammate Scott Mitchell-Marm in 5th. Callum Wilson for Sector 1 Esports came home in 6th, followed by Pseudo Wire in 7th. Martha Allington completes a strong evening in 8th place, followed by Ben Willis. And rounding out our top 10 for the third race this evening was Emil Salberg.
In 11th place was Thomas Back for Marketplace for RSR. Matthew Williams in 12th, with Jordan Hyde of Vapor Shield in 13th. As we saw, Jack Bonney getting a couple of points in 14th. With Alan Smith of Craven Racing getting the last point this evening. Race 3, Harley London and Luke Mitchell were only DNFs.
I'd definitely say that race 2 contained what we'd usually attribute to race 3, the big one, the drama. But with 3 more races in the books, again, it's always a treat to come and visit Knockhill. It's its own unique challenge. Bit of weather in there just to make it even more interesting. Again, we are well and truly over halfway through now. Just 4 more rounds to go. We'll obviously bring those up in a moment to remind everyone. But I think we've got the starts of I think a good championship run-in, Phil.
Yeah, it's going to be great fun to follow. I said 12 races, 18 races down, 12 to go, and definitely all to play for at the top there.
Yeah, so let's just run through our remaining rounds. We'll hopefully have your wonderful company in 2 weeks' time at Donington Park. We return to the Grand Prix layout. That'll be on the 2nd of September. 2 weeks after that, we visit Croft and the unique challenges that circuit brings on the 16th of September. We then close out the season with our annual visit to the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone, and its national layout on the 30th of September, with our grand finale at Brands Hatch and its Grand Prix layout on the 14th of October. So plenty of more racing to come over the next couple of months. And well, Phil, it's been action-packed tonight. I imagine more action in the next 4 rounds, but Knockhill, it always gives us a treat, and it's treated us tonight.
Yeah, it really has. It's always nice to jump over the border. Those cooler temperatures. The little risk of rain didn't quite teased us there at the start, at the end of race 1 and race 3, but nothing came to pass, and we'll have to see what the if the rains return down in Donington in a couple of weeks' time.
We will. So we return to where it started 6 rounds ago, Donington Park. Previously we were at the National Circuit, now we're at the Grand Prix Circuit. A different layout, a different challenge for our drivers. We will have to see who will make the best of it. Thank you so much for joining in and watching this evening. We really do appreciate it. If you're interested in finding out more about TCUK or VMO, Virtual Motorsport Online, feel free to head on over to our website, vmo-simracing.co.uk, where you can find out more about the league and join the community. But for now, thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Donington Park.